Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk. For goodness sake, why am I not allowed a day off? It's not possible. I can't take just one stinking day without doing a morning show. This is just impossible. The world of Arsenal does not allow it, seemingly. Thank you for joining me. To be honest, I'm quite happy because this is good news. It's some really good stuff. And had it have maybe been the opposite, I may have not bothered. But considering what we're talking about, I am very, very bothered and I'm very, very happy by it. So thank you for joining me, everybody, in the chat box. Apologies that there was no morning show. As for those that were wondering, I did leave a post in the community tab. I try and take one day off at the weekend off for my mental health. But this was news too good not to chat about. So welcome, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Drop a like on the video if you haven't done so already and subscribe to the channel if you are indeed new around here. We are here to discuss the fantastic news that William Saliba has said himself, words from the man's mouth. Oh, it's just good, isn't it? That he will be staying at Arsenal next season. In an interview with Telefoot, I'll get up the translation for you on the screen so you can see it and take it all in with me. In an interview with Telefoot's Julian Maynard, he says, I belong to Arsenal. I still have 2 years left. I will be back with Arsenal. I have played 0 matches and I still want to show them my true face and have the chance to play for these fans and this great club. For all of my criticisms of the cult following behind William Saliba, what I would have to admit and say that I think the love that William Saliba has got, the messages that he has got consistently while being at Arsenal has certainly made him feel wanted. And I think that's a really important thing. I think the Arteta's comments recently, as we heard from him, saying that, he has to come back. He wants him back. He's going to be part of the team. They have clearly made it clear to him that he will be part of the team. So all of that is really, really, really good news. And I'm very happy about it. What I want this also to do is to put to bed the silly, incessant over criticisms of his treatment, at Arsenal, this supposed bad treatment. In my view, Arsenal made one mistake with Saliba, and that was not registering him during the summer of 2020. When we didn't register him for the League and the Europa League, that is the mistake that Arsenal made with him. After that point, what we did in January, by sending him to Nice for those 6 months to get him that excellent experience, by then sending him on loan again last summer, it has enabled him to get to the point where he can now, in my opinion, play for Arsenal consistently, can compete with Ben White, can compete with Gabriel Magalhaes. I think this is a great point for Arsenal to look back at and say, you know what, we've ridden this storm, if effectively will, of kind of the bad press, the criticism of the handling of the Saliba situation, and still after that, Saliba is willing to turn around and, say that he wants to come back, he wants to stay, and he wants to prove what he can do. And that's what this has always been about, is in my view, this has been the correct handling of the situation, getting him those loans, not comparing him to other players in his age group, because to be honest, if you do that, it's very rare that you see players in his age group getting starts for teams at this level. It is fantastic to see that he will be in the team next season. And I want to get your thoughts and feelings as well, of course, in the chat box. So tell me how you're feeling about this news about William Saliba, who will be staying, it seems, at Arsenal next season. Omar says, I must say the way this has been handled is good. Fair play, Mr. Arteta. Cookie Monster says the Arsenal fans who have been criticising Saliba, constantly asking for him to get out the club, can also get rid. Very, very good point. I've criticised Saliba for some of the things that he said. But I've never said that, he should get rid of him. He's horrible. He's a horrible person. No, look, he's a young kid. I've expected these types of comments from William Saliba. I've expected to see these types of immature comments in the past from players of that age. I can take that, But what has happened over the last year, has certainly seen him mature, grow up. He's aged. He's got better. Both personally and sportingly. And I think on all those levels, he's definitely improved. So, yeah, absolutely. If you want Saliba gone because of, I don't know why. I don't know why you'd want Saliba gone at this stage, but I think that you have to give the guy a chance. Tom, thank you so much for the kind donation. That's really kind of you, mate. So much for taking Sunday off. I, for one, appreciate it. This is exactly what teams want from loans. You are correct about the early issues. Yes, thanks, Tom. And look, I will try to take a day off next weekend. I will try. No promises, but I will try to take a day off. Ironically, there will be another show for you later on today, which I'm going to try and get around to as well on Yuri Tillemans. Omar says, Clue, if Tom says that he will take a day off, just know he won't. That's a new for watchers of the channel. Yeah, welcome to TGT. If I say I'm taking a day off, I inevitably will break that promise. Northern Gooner says, definitely keep Saliba, Bellerin swap deal, Pepe swap deal, get Hickey, Zinchenko, Basuma, Skamaka, and Jesus all in. Sell Partey and Tierney if they don't play full seasons next season. Always injured. Not much you're asking for, but you know, got to dream big. Iron says, great. Now this Saliba's so-called saga is ended. Let's focus on the players that is not on the club's payroll, contrary to what Mikel Arteta says. Low. I think I'm waiting for some praise. You know, I think Arteta deserves some credit about the handling of this situation. Aaron says, happy to see Saliba maturing and showing he's up for the challenge. Looking forward to see him next season. Tom says, a window of Jesus, Gnabry, Skamaka, Tielemans and Zinchenko with Saliba returning would take our squad to a level I genuinely believe that we can compete at. Spend 170 million, get back 50 and from sales, and it's a great window. Timmy says, good feels, but want to see contract extensions to protect his value. Hopefully that's the next step, is, you know, contracting him to a long-term deal, 3-year extension, make it a 5. I think that's the way that we need to move forward with this, and hopefully we can achieve that as well. Kuba, thank you for joining us, says we need to do our bits as fans to give him lots of love and support to convince him to sign that new deal and stay here for longer. If I was him, taking my Arsenal hat off for a second, I would wait. You know, I wouldn't sign a new deal. I would probably have waited until next summer to see how many minutes he gets. And that would be fair. And I'm not going to criticize him if he doesn't sign a new deal this summer, because, you know, I think it's absolutely fair that he would want to wait to see how much he's going to play. But it's now on the club to give him those regular opportunities, hopefully that we can then see that. Omar says, I'm seeing Bellerin and Guedes Rodriguez swap deal rumours. What are your thoughts? Look, if Guedes Rodriguez is a midfielder that we're going for, it would be a very, very good signing for Arsenal to make. He's a very, very good player. Vishal says, I think we still need to tie him down to a new contract. That will tell us more about his actual commitment levels to the club. But this is great news. I don't think we should, you know, criticize him for a lack of commitment. This is someone that's not been given the chance yet. You know, he's not been given the opportunity yet. He will want to know what the club think and see of him next season. So let's see what indeed we do see from him next year. Peter says Saliba will get frozen out of the squad after he continues to be a problem player by the end of the year. Peter, that's not the attitude to have. We should be optimistic about Saliba returning to the team. I don't think he has an attitude problem. I don't think that's never been in question for me. The issue with that, with William Saliba, is just a maturity thing. You know, he's not media savvy yet. He's not old enough yet. He's not the experiences yet. You know, I think there is something about him, don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't say he's got attitude issues. I think his attitude has been great for Marseille this season. I think he's put everything on the line for Marseille, and he's got them into the Champions League with performances that have got him into the Liga team of the season. I don't think Saliba has attitude problems at all. I think Saliba is a young guy, and I think that earns some rope. I think, you know, at that age, you earn a little bit of rope in regards to this. If we were talking about a 27, 28-year-old defender doing some of the things that Saliba has done, then sure, we can have a discussion about an attitude problem. But a young guy who's been, you know, who's gone through some awful situations, you know, from a personal level, we know what happened with his family to a certain extent. We know what's happened with an unfortunate incident, yes, was definitely his fault, but I think hopefully he's learned from regarding that video. And I think the situation at Arsenal where he's come in at 28 million quid as an 18-year-old with all this expectation and then been told he's not ready is a tough thing to go through. So I have the patience, I have the willingness, I have the openness, especially after hearing this interview. You know, maybe my position would have been different if he had said, look, I'm too good for Arsenal, I need to be playing week in, week out, and I'm not going to do that, I want to go. Maybe I would be thinking differently. But that's not what happened. He's come out very maturely, spoken about this, saying that he's up for the challenge. He wants to show the Arsenal fans what he can do. And that he's been very complimentary about Arsenal in his comment as well. So I think that's really, really important. Let's go to Jay Can, who says Saliba admitted in an earlier interview that Arteta didn't say he's not good. He just said he's not ready. Absolutely. And I said, I thought I said that. I said he's been told he's not ready for Arsenal. It's very different. Not being ready and not being good enough is two very different things. Ashton says, if we don't get Champions League next year, does Saliba go? He has already proved he can take a team there and perform. Obviously not alone. You need a lot more than just one centre-back and a young one at that to take you to the Champions League. But maybe it would have an impact on his view of whether or not he signs a new contract. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case whatsoever. Dita says, Scamacca won't leave Italy. Some club will pay 10 million euros with a 3-year loan deal with obligation to buy 25 million. That's how things work out. Who knows? It's not like we haven't seen something similar before. Let's have a look at Wes. He says, I think Saliba, he needs to have the opportunity to show the talents that, in my humble but accurate opinion, he has. I love that. My humble but accurate opinion. The complete juxtaposed definition of an opinion. I love it. I love that confidence. Roland says, it's a good development if he returned. He was never given the chance to even make a mistake. Let's keep him. He's a wonderful lad. I love that. He's a wonderful lad. Doug says, does Holding leave? Depends. Depends what Holding wants to do. He's under contract. I would keep him for the depth. Why do we just want to get rid of these players? I think Holding has shown in the games at Molineux, at Anfield, what he can bring to the team in one-off games. In those one-off games, Holding can be valuable. But it's the games that Holding has to play a stretch for that he starts to struggle, because let's be real, for an Arsenal expectation, over a period of, say, 10 games, Holding's not going to be that guy. And I think the Spurs game showed that also in those one-off games, sometimes it doesn't go to plan. So I would keep Holding in the squad. He's also the most experienced defender that we have. He's actually one of the only few players that have played in the Champions League for Arsenal at the club. So I would keep him, keep that 4, Holding, White, Gabriel, Saliba. It's a great group of players. If there's a chance to go out and sign an experienced centre-back, I'd also be tempted, because I think that's a dynamic that maybe we're missing from this team. But yeah, I think absolutely he has to stay. Let's go to Vishal says, any update on Gnabry and Jesus? Of course, we'll talk more about that in tomorrow's show, but Jesus is looking good. Gnabry, as I've said for a long time, I'd be shocked if he came to Arsenal. Ajwang says, Holding is our wall. He shouldn't leave. To cement your lead, you need Holding. Never complains about playing time. He's great to come off the bench in those games where we're trying to hold on to a 1-goal lead. He's great for those circumstances. Mike says, could we do worse than Ben Mee on a free? No, not necessarily. On a free deal, I don't think as a depth option it's that bad. Tarkovsky, I've said before, I got laughed at for saying Tarkovsky on a free. I don't think it would be too bad of a deal either to get done on a free in the summer, when we can just commit our money elsewhere. To bring in an experienced centre-back would certainly add something to this team. If it does turn out to be Holding, Saliba, White and Gabriel, I think that's a 4 that's good. But I wouldn't say that not bringing in a centre-back of experience on a free wouldn't be a bad option for Arsenal. AFC Cal says, would you pay 190k a week for Gabriel Jesus, or is that too much? I would pay that for Jesus. Yeah, I would. I was talking about this earlier on. I was chatting, having a very good conversation with the Arsenal Therapy podcast. It will be out tomorrow. Make sure you go and check them out on iTunes. The Arsenal Therapy podcast, that is. Talking about the idea of depth and what's needed in the squad, but also the fact that if someone succeeds, you don't talk about their money. You don't talk about what they're on. You don't talk about what they cost, because they're scoring goals, they're succeeding. So if Gabriel succeeds, I won't talk about how much he's costing us. If he struggles, that's when we start having a conversation about money. That's not fair. You're right. It's not fair, but it's the reality. It's what we do. It's what we've come to expect. Let's go to Marcus says, did you see Bailey still working on Operation Sanchez? Did also laugh at his Arsenal way. Our pick. Yeah, you can't contain Bailey. He'll do what he does. You respect him for it. Omar says, how does Arteta accommodate Gabriel, White and Saliba next season? Back 3 or back 4? Back 4. Rotation, Europa League, Cup games. The Europa League's been playing over 8 weeks, not 12, so that consistent play time will still happen up until the World Cup. Saliba's intention is going to be wanting to play for the French national side. He's going to want to be pushing to get games, and when he gets a chance, Saliba's motivation will be up here. It will be so high to get into that French national team that he'll be wanting to put in some top-class performances. Competition is healthy. I don't think we need to change to a back 3. I would be mindful of trying it. I think there's an opportunity to play it, but I don't think we necessarily have to get him into the team. Chris, thank you so much for your donation. Hi, Tom. Do you see the bonus member chats? It's like a free super chat the members get occasionally. Just sent one, and ones that were sent never get read. Thought I'd check. Also have a takeaway on me for your day off. Thanks, Chris. The member chats. I don't think I do see them, or StreamYard hasn't coded them yet, so it doesn't show up on StreamYard. That's annoying if that's the case, because I can only say sorry if I don't see the super reads or mentions, but I do indeed see the super chats. But thank you for that. Really appreciate the kind words. Gary says, do you think we're still wasting our time with Scamacca instead of considering he's already expressed a desire to stay in Italy? I don't know. I don't know how real those reports are. I don't know how much we're in for him. There's clearly an interest from Arsenal. Let's see what happens. But Inter Milan, when they make a decision on their striker, that will probably accelerate any ideas for Scamacca if it isn't indeed him who gets it. Wes says, can you remember a journalist saying that potentially Saliba and Gabriel could be the best defensive partnership for the next 10 years? I don't remember that being said. Is that me? Did I say that? I hope not. I hate making statements like that. Jack says, absolutely buzzing with this news. Would have been a disaster had Saliba gone. Think it was a good move that he put any doubt to bed early. And again, Jack, I think we've got to give credit to, how this situation's been handled by the club. Giving him 18 months of regular playing time. Had he have suffered not necessarily getting the minutes that he should have been getting behind White and Gabriel, maybe we wouldn't be where we're at. And I think that's certainly worthy of credit to the way we've managed that situation since 2021. Kim says, I actually think Saliba can get that Varane or Kimpembe spot in the French squad. Varane seems to be falling apart injury-wise. Kanate, Saliba, Kimpembe, maybe Hernandez. You usually take about 4, maybe 5 centre-backs. So Saliba's got to compete with Kimpembe and Kanate and Koundé as well, of course, who's in the squad. Hernandez didn't have a good game the other day. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I've still got my headphones in. I don't need them. Let's go to a couple more comments before we wrap things up. There's over 1,000 of you tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us live. We're reacting to the news that William Saliba will be staying at Arsenal next season. If you haven't already dropped a like on the video, thank you so much for those that have, but please do so and subscribe to the channel if you are indeed new around here. Let's go to Gilfie, who says, every player that Arteta throws out of the squad, there is talk of player attitude. Is it the players or is it Arteta? Well, I think what you listen to some of the players, what they talk about, the togetherness of the squads, how the culture is changing in the squad, and that has clearly been the direction that Arsenal want to go in since he's come into the team. So I think the players that have been moved on, I think there's been issues with them. You think of Ozil, you think of Aubameyang, documented issues with players, not just at Arsenal, but from their time at other clubs, Dortmund, of course, under previous managers, and now, of course, with Ozil at Fenerbahce. So I don't think there's necessarily the argument to say that Arteta is the issue with these. I think moving players out and creating an accountability environment at Arsenal is definitely a good thing. And maybe we're seeing that, Saliba has earned that place in the Arsenal squad for next season, and he's being rewarded with that by Arteta saying that he needs to come back. Let's go to I can't see any. Why is it's not updating? Hold on, there we go. Gress says, didn't Guendouzi get done for driving that? I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily the same. Joe Willock, I think, didn't have something happen to Joe Willock, allegedly. I've got to say allegedly something happened. So I don't think a car incident necessarily creates a bad attitude. I don't think that's fair. Let's go to Ashton says, yo, we hit it. Let's go. Over 1,000 of you tuning in. Fantastic to see. All it took was Saliba saying that he had to stay to see it. DJ Assassin says, if not early this season, I hope Saliba extends his deal come January. I don't like the thought of Arsenal getting to the end of the season and he only has one last year of his contract remaining. As I've said before, if I was Saliba, I would wait until next summer. But Arsenal should be doing everything they can to try and extend his contract. And hopefully they will, because it would be a big, big bonus for us this summer. Michelle says, considering most of our transfer options are somewhat affordable, should we break the bank for Osimhen? I would think that a Scamacca or an Osimhen would be great, but Scamacca for half the price, maybe more than half the price, is probably a better option with someone like Gabriel Jesus. CM Jose says, Tom, we have been linked with a few centre-backs. I don't think we need one. What's your opinion on this? I think that having 5 is a good kind of base for a multi-competition attempt at a season. I wouldn't mind seeing another centre-back come in, but I wouldn't want it to be a priority above other positions like striker, centre midfielder, and versatile fullback. I think they are bigger areas that we need to strengthen in. AFC Cal says, I'm hearing that Arteta only signed 3 players. If this is true, who would the 3 be? Thank you for bringing this up because I want to address this. I did address it on the Arsenal Therapy podcast, which will come out tomorrow, but I do want to address this. The report that came out saying that the scaling back of Arsenal's transfer period has been taken wildly out of context, in my opinion. In my view, had we have achieved Champions League football, I think that Arsenal would have been able to go for, say, 5 or 6 genuine upgrades on our starting 11. Without the Champions League football, I think what this means is by scaling it back, is we're going to be looking to bring in 3 players that are genuine upgrades on what we already have, being Jesus, Tielemans, and probably a wide forward. Now, that doesn't mean that we aren't going to sign any other players. We've already signed Turner. We look like we're signing Marquinhos, and we could sign that versatile fullback, be that Zinchenko or Hickey or someone like that. I don't think those players count towards the 3 that has been supposedly reported. In my view, I think the 3 that is being reported are the 3 genuine upgrades on the squad, and then there will be additional signings that bulk out the squad with potential rather than being genuine upgrades. That's kind of where I look at. Khalid, I haven't forgotten Trusty. The reason why I don't count Trusty is because he's going to be loaned out during the summer. So I think that is what they mean by scaling back their plans for the summer transfer window from, say, 5 or 6 genuine upgrades on the squad that they could have done with Champions League football to now 3-ish genuine upgrades on the first 11, and then some further signings beyond that that then bulks out what we need for next season and replaces certain areas of the team that needed bulking out as well. I hope that made sense. It made sense when I was saying it. And of course, with Saliba returning, I think that also adds an element of strengthening to the team, inadvertently, not directly, but I think it adds to that. It sucks that I'm gonna have to wrap this up, but I was gonna take a day off, and there was reasons because I've got stuff to do. There's over 1,100 of you tuning in. Thank you. We do a show every day at 8 a.m. UK time. Thank you for those that are tuning in. I know this is in the middle of the day, which probably makes it a lot easier on a Sunday for you guys to tune in. But genuinely, thank you for everybody that has tuned in for this show and has continued to support the channel. We hit 32,000 subs recently. Amazing support of the channel. Thank you to everybody that tunes in. And we've got some great news to celebrate with this Saliba stuff as well. And yeah, I'll be back later on today with a Yuri Tielemans tactical breakdown for you. So make sure that you are turning those notifications on to get all the information all updated on Yuri Tielemans, where the transfer's at, how close it is, what he's like as a player, how he compares to our current existing central midfielders. All of that is coming this afternoon with expert insight from Ben Jacobs of CBS Sports. So make sure you do tune in for that. Last thing before we do is a fantastic super chat again from Chris P. If we miss out on Gakpo, I'll be gutted. Me too. But if we do, maybe it's because we get someone better. Let's wait and see. Thank you for tuning in. I've said that like 5 times now, and I don't care. I'm going to have a great rest of my Sunday. I hope you have a great one too. And I'll see you again very, very soon. And as always, up the Arsenal.